Our next speaker is the head of the Romanian Energy Auditors Association, Professor Emilia-Cerna Mladin, and we'd like to welcome her. And also I'd just like to stress from this the importance of, we've heard of energy audits, and this association and some of the thoughts you'll hear today that will really drive the green building promotion in Romania.
The subject I chose for today is energy and environment performance of buildings, present and future. Okay, this is just an introduction. We already knew that a priority for Europe and Romania, and actually for the entire planet, is to build everything with lower energy consumption. And having in mind that buildings are the first energy consumption at the national level in Europe, of course it gets even higher priority. Some of the content, legal framework, I won't say much because the previous speakers already emphasized. What is the building stock characteristics in Romania, effects of energy on energy use and greenhouse gas emissions at the level in Romania, not the general aspects, from past to the future by investment, and some remarks and conclusion that we noticed. For the legal framework, I want just to emphasize the fact that besides the building energy performance directive, there is this directive for energy services where buildings again are included because they are the consumers that do not trade the CO2 emissions. So they are included in this directive also, and this directive in Romania will generate an action plan, as I will soon say. So again, a lot of laws, but I want to emphasize what's new is the plan for energy efficiency where buildings are included, and a new Romanian energy strategy from the period 2007 to 2020. What is the level of electricity consumption, the total final energy use in the previous 5 years in Romania, just to have an idea what's the level of energy use in the building sector. For the population, for instance, you can see the total final energy use or end use is 37%. It's not 40%, it's 37% anyway. It's the first energy consumer at the national level. For the electricity consumption, it's the second after the industry. Again, an important energy. Now we can understand why in Romania as well we emphasize a lot energy efficiency measures. What are the measures envisioned in this action plan for the buildings, residential and tertiary as well? Are insulation, ventilation, heating and cooling at very good efficiencies, combined power and heat production, public lighting of high efficiency, of course appliances of very high energy performance, but also what would be not very new, but still new for Romania, the energy service companies. We have in Romania about 5-6 energy service companies, but the legal framework is not very clear up to the moment, but you see in this action plan they want, the decision factors really want to free the way for this type of service companies that are very successful abroad. What's the existing building stock in Romania? Because for the investors it's important to understand what is the market in this sector. So what can we say? It's that the majority of the buildings are old. I cannot say very old because in Europe there are buildings much older than in Romania, but they don't have earthquakes. Single houses, this is a characteristic probably not only for Romania, but it's important to know that more than 95% of the buildings are single houses. The blocks of flats are less than 2%, but they include 40% of the dwellings. Okay, so almost 3 million apartments, and they are of different types, and you can see in these pictures they don't show like having a good indoor environment. They are pretty poor in insulation. Actually, in most of the buildings, most of the blocks, the thermal insulation does not even exist. The statistical data shows that the energy consumption in the urban blocks of flats is of the level 390 kilowatts per square meter and year, 180 for space heating, and for district hot water, 200 kilowatts per square meter and year, as opposed to an indicator that I found for the European Union. It's an average that includes old and newer buildings in European Union of 220. So it's almost double. What are the effects of energy rehabilitation or modernization on energy use level and emissions of greenhouse gas? Experts, by many works that has been performed over the buildings in the last years, found that the potential for saving energy for space heating is about 40%, not for the very complex special measures, just average measures, average energy efficiency packages, which is at the end user. And because of the high losses on the distribution system, we talk about 88% national potential at the source, at the production unit. It's a lot. Only 12% are really useful. The rest is loss. It's tremendous. But in the literature, in journals, newspapers, I found that not only Romania is in this situation. It's a pretty general situation. The losses are really very high. So rehabilitation, sustainable development means end user, but also the production units and all the distribution chain up to the end user. The potential for CO2 emission associated with the 88% energy saving at the source is about 4 million tons of CO2, equivalent CO2 per year. If we compare this emission factor with France, where it's 0.09 because of the large fraction of nuclear power production. Okay, so it's important to know what's the potential for emission trading in Romania. So the great challenge is to build a green future, and the actions would be for all buildings, certification, rehabilitation, and renewable energy sources implemented. What I can tell you that people were very reluctant to this type of measures a couple of years ago. They were extremely scared about the prices. And since the energy price goes up, I can tell you that the attitude changed tremendously over the last 2 years, and now people are looking for financing means to support this type of energy efficiency actions for individuals, individual owners, or for the condominium buildings, for the block of flats. I want just to show how an energy certificate looks like in Romania, because I'm not only the president of this association, I'm a professor, a trainer of energy auditors in this country, and it's important to know what is the information contained in this energy certificate. It's not only energy for heating and domestic water, it's also the content of CO2. It's not very visible, but it's needed to associate what is the emission of CO2 associated with the building, and with the reference building we are trying to reach as energy quality by energy efficiency measures. So this is on the certificate. Everybody will know, will have an idea about what that figure means. It's a lot, it's not a lot, it's important. Exactly like for the energy consumption, the people in the street, they don't know what is 200 kilowatt per square meter Kelvin. They look at the colors. They are green, it's okay. They are red, it's not okay. Red, usually it's not for the good behavior. Energy auditor role. Energy auditors are new experts on the market. This is why we have hundreds, but we need much more than that for these 8 million dwellings. We need more than that, but this is an interdisciplinary training, and really we need to run courses, a lot of courses to train these people. I can tell you that training programs are between 4 weeks and a year and a half. We don't train them to use a software, a commercial code. We train them to really understand the building, the physics, the mathematical approach to quantify the energy losses. Not every square centimeters, but the majority, the most important losses from the buildings, and especially what are the measures to implement it, because one thing is to assess what's going on, and the next level of an expert is to recommend measures and to tell to the people what are the costs, what is the economical efficiency besides the technical efficiency. And then this is a language that everybody would understand. Money, costs, not energy indicators. We are in transition, you know, with people know exactly what they have to do. And also all large buildings that are renovated. Beginning with January 2010, we need to be ready for all the houses and apartments when sold or rented. So we know that, we don't know, maybe that you don't know that in Romania, January the 1st is the starting point, and we need to be ready by that time, because the real estate sector is very, very dynamic, like almost everywhere. We need to be ready to certify the buildings from energy point of view very quickly and correctly. We have some solar panels in close to the sea, and the new power plant. This field of solar panels supply heat to the neighboring blocks of flats, and they are very happy with it. Again, in different schools, city halls, there are projects going on, and as I told you at the beginning, everybody was, what is that, it costs too much, forget about it, I have other priorities. Now when they see all these buildings, they are very, very willing to be part of such projects. Energy rehabilitation of the urban blocks of flats is a priority for Romania, because a few buildings, less than 2%, they have 40% of the dwellings. So with one project, we can help more families to live better. 60% of the existing blocks are built before 90, and they need 60 of what it exists, they need thermal rehabilitation. Potential for heating and energy savings, as I said, 38 to 40%, it's estimated. We can get more than that. I just said by average measures. The policy of the European Union is to reach in the next 10 years the passive house standards. So everybody looks to increase the standards, meaning that we have it as a target less energy used in the buildings. Looking for the passive house standards, as I said, for the new buildings. For the new buildings, of course, we cannot do it for all the existing, which means that less than 15 kilowatts per square meter for heating, for space heating. Energy market factors should invest in energy efficiency at the end users and resize their capacity according to the new demand. This is very important, because a lot of projects are going on to rehabilitate and modernize the thermal plants. But the heat demand will be different. It will be half of it, of what it's today, or even less than that. And now what are we doing? We need to start with the end user. This is the demand side management. We need to start with the users. And then if the demand is much less, we need to resize the capacity of the production and distribution units, because if they work at half capacity, of course the efficiency is very low even with the best equipment. They spend a lot for new equipment, but the demand is lower and lower. Final energy user must be the client. So they all should look to please the client, the producer, the distributor, and the supplier. This is the real free market. The climate change mitigation, we cannot forget the climate change, which is part of any policy and strategy everywhere. Even the tariffs include a small fraction for climate change projects. The emission trading projects, as I told you about earlier, and the white certificates. Unfortunately, the white certificates, they do not exist in Romania. But in the near future, I'm sure they will come, because we need a way to certify people who invest in energy efficiency. White certificates are related to a certain amount of energy saved, as green certificates are related to a certain amount of electricity produced by renewable energy sources. So this energy certificate, white certificates system or scheme should be implemented very soon in Romania in order to offer this to those who really want to do something. The promotion of renewable energy sources and combined heat and power must be encouraged and supported by proper tariff policy and fiscal measures. If we don't give proper tariff to the energy produced by these now expensive sources, we don't help the promotion, the development of this system. If they are expensive, nobody will look to do that. And then there are fiscal measures, again, to support the pioneering of these equipments. Thank you.